Kathy Nutt-Brown, and I'm talking this morning with Nadia, who is going to talk about telling stories from the perspective of a parent of bilingual, multilingual children. Nadia, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Welcome.
I wonder, could we begin by talking about the importance of telling stories? We know the importance of reading stories to children in terms of their early reading, but could you talk a little bit about why you think telling stories, the spoken language, making stories up is important?
Yeah, in my opinion, it is very important to tell your child stories at a very early age. It helps to improve their imagination, build on their oracy and literacy skills, as well as their confident levels.
Thank you. And you speak several languages in your family. Do you use all of those languages when you tell stories, or do you have a preferred language to use at home?
Now, I speak Urdu and Punjabi, and I don't mind if I tell them in Urdu or in Punjabi, and sometimes I mix both of them, and they feel comfortable. They can understand both languages.
And your children are growing up speaking Urdu, Punjabi, English, and I understand a bit of Welsh. So
yes,
those languages are helping build each other. So if children have more than one language, they perhaps are in a better position to learn the next one and the next one.
yes. I speak Urdu, Punjabi. They learn from home. English they can learning from school, and Welsh now they are learning from school also. It gives them the confidence that they have a skill which can goes with their life, and they feel confident to communicate people in different languages from different origins.
From being very tiny, you talked earlier about telling stories to your children when they were tiny babies, lullabies and so on.
Yes, I always tell them lullabies when they are babies in Urdu, and as soon they grown up, they have no difficulty to understand me.
And you draw, I think you said you draw on your own cultural heritages in terms of the stories that you tell children about your own childhood and when you went to school.
Yes, what I do, I always, when I play with them, I used to tell them about how we used to play, stories about how we used to play when we were child, and what type of games we used to play. And when we have a family time together, because they love to spend time with parents and family members, I use that time to tell them the stories about my life in Pakistan, a story about my pets, and about my school lives, and they feel like these are like a fairy tales, and they feel they are in other world.
And so those stories are giving them more of a sense of their own cultural heritages, but they're also broadening their own perspective on the world, aren't they?
Yes, because they haven't been back to my country yet, and they haven't had experience to see by themselves, but they have imagination. Okay, when we go there, and they feel very comfortable to mixing with the peoples over there.
Yes, yes. What would you say to parents who feel very happy reading a story to their children, but less comfortable actually making up a story or telling a story? What advice would you give them?
I think in my experience, I feel more comfortable instead of that reading the story, just telling them the story as we are doing our jobs. And as when we go outside, I see something, I compare and make a story like this is here, but in back in our culture, it is like that, and we spend our time or we spend our events, how we celebrate them. Uh, I think it's more easy to make a story than instead of just sit down and open a book and read them.
So that example shows that you can tell stories wherever you are. Just you
Yes,
see something,
wherever you are.
remind you
Yeah.
of something, and yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I just wondered if you wanted to say something in whichever language you prefer to share your advice or suggestions with parents around storytelling.
ओके, सबसे पहले तो आपका शुक्रिया कि आपने मुझे मौका दिया है आपके साथ बात करने का। दूसरे मैं सब वालिदैन को ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि आप अपने बच्चों को अपनी ज़ुबान में कहानियाँ सुनाएँ। बच्चे जो हैं इस तरह तो सीखेंगे, एक दूसरी ज़ुबान सीख लेंगे बगैर किसी मेहनत के और बगैर किसी मशक्कत के। उनके लिए आपकी ज़ुबान समझना कोई भी हो, चाहे वो पंजाबी हो, उर्दू हो, बंगाली हो, अ अ अ, ये इनके लिए एक एक्स्ट्रा स्किल बन जाएगा। तो जब वो जाएँगे आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड दुनिया में, बाहर की दुनिया में जाएँगे, ये इनको इतना एतमाद होगा कि हम किसी ऐसे शख्स से मिल रहे हैं जो कि इंग्लिश को नहीं समझता, पर हम उसकी ज़ुबान समझते हैं, तो हम उससे बगैर किसी डर और खौफ के बातचीत कर सकते हैं और बेटर तरीके से आपस में हमारा जो राब्ता है वो हो सकता है।
Thank you so much. And Nadia, can I say thank you for being part of this event and for sharing your thoughts about storytelling in families?
You're welcome.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. Good to meet you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.